Okay, so I was gonna ask you a question, but I won't even patronize you with such a obvious question that has such an obvious answer. Yes, of course, you want to be the greater version of yourself. You always have. As a matter of fact, a lot of you have most likely taken great strides in the direction of becoming that greater version of yourself that you've always seen in the mirror. You know he's there, but you just can't somehow, you can't reach, you can't become. Well, I'm gonna tell you the reasons why. It's so simple when you break it down. It's I swear when I heard this, it was like elementary. It was like, of course, light bulb is so simple. You have to take the steps of sacrifice. I'm not saying sacrifice yourself or sacrifice a human being or a dog or a cat. I'm not saying that you have to shed blood in order to become the greater version of yourself. I'm saying that you must sacrifice. There are aspects of yourself that can change, that you know can change, that need to change. Some of you are in dire straits and you really need to change. Because it's so bad that you just might not be here next year. And I'm not trying to, produce fear or anything like that, but that's one of the things that must change. You have to cut that fear aspect out of your life. I mean, I know it's somewhat impossible. You're not gonna watch a horror flick and not jump, if something just spooks you. You will fear things, but you need to make sure that your second thought is always a greater thought. You cannot control your first thought, but you can always control the second thought that you have. You see, the first thought is just pure instinct. It's like, yeah, of course I'm thirsty, I have to drink. But the second thought is like, okay, what's in that water? Why are there flies around it? How come no dogs or horses are drinking from that? You see what I'm saying? Just an example. And so myself, I'll be honest, super honest. The things that could change about me is probably I have to slow down on the MMA, UFC, watching, all of these really violent sports. Even though I'm not a violent person, trust me, like I've changed so much. And I never really was violent, I was always a bit defensive. But MMA I'm not saying that it's a negative thing. It's actually very positive. But I can fast from that from time to time. Like today, there's a few good fights, so I might not watch them all. I'm gonna make sacrifices. But next week is, we got Leon Edwards, Mr. Headshot Dead. Yeah, I gotta watch that. Sorry. So we will, after next week, we will be going hard on making these changes. Also the cocktails, like I said, cocktails, I got to cut that out because first of all, it's not good for me. It's bad for my health. Secondly, I'm starting to see that spare tire that I sacrificed before to get rid of. And I did so well, I did so well. I lost so much weight that people thought I was sick. Would you believe this? Check this out. All right, so look, I used to have a homeboy that worked at Texas Station. When I came in, as my new self, conscious and whatnot, eating right, all fruits before 12, that was my thing, and it worked like a charm. My primary doctor said that I just cut this diet out. The weight was coming off so fast. I went into Texas Station, saw this homie that I used to have, right? He passed. He's moved on. But he thought I was sick. He asked, yo, is everything okay with him? He thought I was sick. And now he's no longer here. He passed last year. Actually, it was, last year he passed. So you understand that it's not always, you can't judge a book by its cover all the time. Sometimes people are going through things, but sometimes people are making great sacrifices and they're becoming greater versions. Why is it that when a black man loses a lot of weight or a black woman loses a lot of weight, they got to be sick? No, investigate first. Don't just assume. Don't assume. But like I said, these are things that I need to sacrifice. I say you should look in the mirror and make sure that you're doing the sacrifices yourself, because it's simple laws of physics. It's not like kooky talk. It's not Illuminati shit like sacrifice. It's simple laws of physics. You cannot exist on the same plane as two separate people. So one of you has to go. You understand, right? Like I'm sorry, I keep on tapping because of the flies, but one of you has to go. All of this stuff that no longer serves you has to go. You don't always have to get rid of people in your life, but sometimes some of you got some toxic frenemies in your life and you don't even know it. Trust me, I've dealt with that too. I could say names right now and then just really blow shit up, but I won't do that. But even as a child, you had the instinct to, I can't kick it with Johnny no more. This nigga's gonna get me arrested. He's always in trouble. He's crazy. I got to get rid of this girl, man. Like she's toxic. She's always trying to start fights and shit and bring me down. And she calls Nate, she smacks me on the back of the head, whatever. I never dealt with none of that, but actually I have dealt with toxicity, but we know these things. We really know these things, but it's all about dedicating yourself to becoming the greater version of yourself. All of these little things, there's a lot of things that are going to have to change. But sometimes everything has to change. You have to do a complete 180. Everything has to change with you. You see? You cannot, there is no give without take. There is no give without take. You can't take 2 breaths without exhaling first. You have to exhale in order to take. You have to give a breath to take a breath. You can't take a step forward without leaving a step behind. You feel me? So, this is just something that came out of the blue because I heard someone say something about sacrifice the other day, and it just got me to really, really, really thinking about this like deeply. And the time, there's no greater time than the present. There is no past. There is no now. There's only future. As I say these words right now, we're moving into the future. These words are literally collapsing a new reality right now. So basically, the words that I'm saying right now are the future. You see? Somehow, I mean, we're human beings and we've been given this ability to think back. And some of us use it to our own detriment. I mean, it's good to reflect on good things, good memories. But not everything is worthy of reflecting on. Tribe has spoken.